guys, Caleb here from Reality Check, and today we've got a pretty special laptop. It's the Lenovo YogaBook, and it's pretty awesome. Firstly, big shout out to EveTech for sending this over to us for review. We're enjoying ourselves. Let's jump right into it. As a laptop, the YogaBook delivers. It's a premium professional device that screams elegance and quality, and I think Lenovo's taken extra care to deliver a really well-rounded and finesse device with some great tricks up its sleeve. So let's talk about it in a little bit more detail. The build quality is phenomenal. It's got a fully aluminium chassis that feels rigid and sturdy as all hell, and it's got a nice bit of weight to it too. It has a great quality keyboard with a really decent tactile typing experience, which I'm a huge fan of, but the cherry on top of the component cake with the YogaBook is this trackpad. It is outrageously smooth, hands down the best trackpad I've come across. The Windows precision drivers make it really accurate and responsive, and that metallic surface is just so smooth, it feels buttery, it feels like my fingers melting into it. Now the screen is another thing of beauty on this laptop. Firstly, it's got tiny bezels, which immediately make the display feel bigger and more immersive. Secondly, it's an IPS 1080p panel, so color accuracy is really on point, and so are viewing angles. And lastly, it's an anti-glare matte display, so at least for using it in indoor environments, it's going to cut out a lot of that light. With regards to the port selection, it's not exactly generous, but there's definitely enough for professional use, you know, for external storage or a mouse, although you should be using the trackpad because it is that good, actually. But the nice addition here is a USB-C Thunderbolt 3 enabled port, which just gives you a little bit of versatility, so I appreciated that. The last thing to touch on from a technical perspective would be the battery life, which is pretty damn impressive. So you're going to get in between 7 to 8 hours of constant usage, be it media consumption or just general administrative tasks, which is solid. It'll get you through the day. So as a laptop, the YogaBook is great. It ticks all the boxes. It's sleek, it's powerful, it's stylish, it's professional, but what makes it so special is that it's more than just a laptop. It's actually a 2-in-1 laptop tablet combo, which gives you a whole bunch of different form factors for usability in different environments. Firstly, from a personal usage perspective, flipping it around so that all you can see is the display is a real treat. Having the distance that the keyboard creates between you and the screen removed automatically makes it feel bigger. So for media consumption, I really like its ability to do this. Secondly, you can flip it 270 degrees to rest on its edges so you can have a more stable touch experience. And this is probably one of my favorite ways to use this thing. The thing about this now is that the hinges are actually still attached really firmly to the body, so you can put quite a lot of pressure and it will maintain its position. This is great for things like drawing, taking notes, mind maps, pretty much anything. It just gives you a more accessible angle to interact with the touchscreen. And lastly, the YogaBook's final form, shout out to Freezer, shout out to Cell, shout out to Boo, and that show was repetitive, dog, is tablet mode, because you can essentially fold it in half and use it like a tablet. Puts down. Now, in all fairness, it is quite heavy, so using it as a tablet isn't necessarily an option for extended periods of time. Your arms might get tired, but fold it in half and put it down on the table like I have here, or put it down on your lap, and it's essentially a digital piece of paper. Let's talk about the stylus as well, because it adds to the overall experience of the YogaBook. Now, first things first, it's not Wacom levels. It's not like for digital sketchers who like to make hyper-realistic photos on their tablets. Like, this is not what it's about. But it does have 4096 levels of pen sensitivity, so you can get a pretty decent drawing feel with it, and it still works nicely as a selector for when you've got it in touch mode. It's just a nice addition, and I definitely think you should pick it up along with the laptop. Even without the pen, the touch experience is actually really well done. It's fast, it's responsive, it's accurate, and whilst it does get a bit fingerprinty, pretty much any touch screen is gonna get fingerprinty. You don't really have a choice in that matter. So on top of it being a great laptop, the YogaBook serves so many different functions, I honestly don't know what to call it. Yes, you can use it physically in a lot of different ways, but it's not just pretty to look at, it also performs. So we're rocking the YogaBook 730, which has an i7, 16 gigs of RAM, a 512 gig SSD, and a GTX 1050, which can pretty much handle any basic tasks that you try and throw at it. But more than that, it can even handle 4K footage editing in Premiere Pro, which is really impressive for something as small and as thin as this is. I'm talking playback unrendered footage at full quality. You can even grade whilst you're playing back, as long as you're running it off the SSD. Now obviously, because it can handle Premiere Pro, of course it can handle Photoshop. But the thing that's special about it is that when you flip it around so it's just the screen and you're using the touch pen, it becomes such an intuitive experience. And that's essentially the point of the Yoga Book. It's about being flexible in its usability so it can apply to everyone. So the Yoga Book 730 comes in at 27,000 Rand on EveTech. And along with that, you also get the Lenovo pen and a free bag so you can travel from A to B safely. Now that is definitely pricey, don't get me wrong, but if you compare it to something like the base model 13-inch MacBook Pro, which only has an i5 and comes in at 30,000 Rand, it's a steal compared to that. However, they do have your back, so if you want a slightly downscaled version, is the Yoga 530, which is essentially just a smaller 2-in-1 with less power, less storage, but still a really, really good device. And that pretty much wraps it up for this installment of Reality Check, guys. Let me know what you think about the Yoga Book 730 in the comment section below. What's your favorite position to have it in? This is personally my favorite. Don't forget to hit like, don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time for another installment of Reality Check. Peace.